All right, so let me make a start. Okay, have a good read of this. If you are evenly split on a difficult decision, take the path more painful in the short term. If you're evenly split on a difficult decision, take the path more painful in the short term. Does that bring up anything to mind where you say, yes, this is what it means to me? I see, not encouraged many of you to speak. It's probably not the most obvious one, although it's not difficult to see why that would make sense.
I have a example here.
Okay.
I have a bad habit. I like to snack and watch TV. Actually, many nights I will eat. Even I'm full, I'm satisfied, I'm very happy, but still I want to eat something more, and I will keep snacking and snacking and snacking and watching TV. And in the short term, to stop doing it, it's a little bit painful, but in the long term, it's obviously much better, and I feel better as a result. I'm not full. I'm not like I will go to sleep. My stomach doesn't feel overloaded or anything like that. So in the short term, it's a bit more painful, but in the end, it works out much better.
Very true. And you can take many examples. Let's say you don't have sufficient money in the bank. In the short term, you can pay with a credit card. Now you've got credit card debt. In the long term, that's really hard. As you know, credit card debt interest can be huge, 18, 20%. I don't know if it is more or less. I've never borrowed from a credit card because I know how many people suffered with that. Exercise is another one. In the short term, I can't be bothered tonight or this morning, whatever. In the long term, that's what really pays dividends if you've been exercising. Zach covered the food angle. So now, something to attach to this that you're all hopefully familiar with because we covered it. There is the point about compounding. Compounding means we usually apply it to compounding in terms of money that you save. There's interest rate and it starts to multiply exponentially. In the end, it really multiplies an incredible figure. But that doesn't only apply to money. It applies to health, applies to food, applies to borrowing. If you can take the tough path in the short term, compounding is working in your interest so that by the 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, depending on your time horizon, it's paying off in a massive way. So don't go for the short, easy way. Let it be painful and enjoy the long-term benefit. That's really important. Okay, let's go to the next one. I have quite a few. I'm not sure how many we covered today. I will respect the half-hour marker, and then whatever is left we can do another time. Again, on the decision, if you can't decide, the answer is no. Jump in with it. No, Rabia, good. Now, why do you say that, Rabia?
If you can decide, you can commit for something. It's better to say no first and then think.
Okay, so your default is no. But actually, let me put these examples in front of you because they're really ought to be. I think we've covered it in another way where you say if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And we don't want to be in a situation where you're unsure and yet you find yourself in a pickle. So take those points. Marry a person, take the job, buy this house, partner with this person. These are important decisions. And if you can't decide, don't go into pros and cons and tables. It means something is not so positive that you can say hell yes. And especially crucial life decisions like those are make all the difference for the rest of your life in many ways. So better to think if it's not obvious that you have to sleep on it and dwell on it, it probably better to stick with no. Okay. And in particular, and this may be a bit too late for most of you, is your life partner. Okay. That is, just 1 second. Hamza, I think you're on the call and walking. Either you switch off the camera, please, then we don't have to see your jeans walking all over the place. Okay. So, we don't appreciate just how critical the role of a life partner, even one that may not be involved in your business, in your affair. They affect so much about your life, your frame of mind, your mood, encouragement, discouragement. That's one area that it has to be a clear yes. Now, I know in many societies, including Arabic societies, often in arranged marriage, so you don't get that choice to begin with. But as life goes on, that's also, you still get many decision points. And if it's not a clear yes, maybe it's a no. Okay, let's go to this one. This one was said by Richard Feynman, the celebrated nuclear physicist. You must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Don't fool yourself, and you're the easiest. The first part seems easy. Second part, why am I the easiest person to fool? You see, we want to stretch those neurons. Don't let them just say, let's see what they say. Let's see what I say, yourself, not what they will say. So you must have had a thought, even if it is doubtful, not so clear. Feel free to just jump in and say something. Yeah. You must not fool yourself. Zach, give them a chance. I think it's great that you're participating, and I really appreciate it. But whenever there are people who jump in, the others think I'll wait. So usually it's Zach and Charlotte and a couple of others. So it's great. Where are you, Charlotte? You're usually jumping in. How come you're not saying anything today? Are you there? Oh, there she is. Go ahead, Charlotte. What do you think?
Can you hear me? All right. I'm having
No,
some problem with
yes.
this particular session. It's interesting because I feel that we tend to not look at our own, we don't look within most of the times. And in those instances, we tend to, let's say, avoid reality in situations that we could otherwise, if we have to be a little bit more critical about ourselves, we would probably be in a better position to have a more clarity on a particular situation. So many times this happens in various situations, whether it's personal or professional, and that's where we end up, fooling ourselves in many situations. That's my viewpoint.
Okay. Let me say that's generally valid. More useful for your colleagues is an example, like Zach gave an example, that communicates. A story always communicates much quicker. So here, let me help you out. Our brain, as much as we don't realize it, is full of biases, confirmation bias. We live in echo chambers. We really think because it's our thought is valid, because it occurred in my brain, it is valid, so I follow it. But I don't question, well, where did the thought come from? How was I affected? What society, what culture, what surrounding I was in? And it is surprising when you go around and find almost all your circle are in the same echo chamber, and you end up fooling yourself. And you're the easiest to fool because of your biases. So now, do you have an example, or shall we? Have we got it clearly by now? Charlotte, do you have an example to give us?
I do actually. Let's take a personal situation, and where there was an expectation from, let's say, a very close friend, right? And that expectation led to certain actions that were supposed to happen, which didn't happen. But when you try to just assume that, the fault lies with somebody else, which you really do not go into the depth of why the situation took place in the first place. So you're already preconceived in your mind because you've already wanted something to happen the way you want it to happen, right? So in this instance, you're kind of taking a wrong outlook to a certain situation or a wrong viewpoint to that particular situation.
Thank you.
So probably over a period of time, you tend to, rechange your whole thought process on that.
All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. This one is a little bit of a difficult one, so I don't expect you to jump in on it, but I'll be delighted if somebody does. You have two lives, and the second one begins when you realize you only have one. It seems like a conundrum, a bit like of a koan, one of these Zen koan. Does anybody has a view on this one? This is a really interesting one. You will have plenty of examples from your life or your friend's life, but you will not see it that way.
As far as I have one.
No, go ahead.
But this is, if you look at the COVID time, when we had COVID and we were all locked down, and when we were, in our houses and everything was closed, then we realized how important to live life is. When we came out, when it opened up and we came out, we understood the value of life much more than we realized before. Things which we were taking for granted, we thought, oh, we can't take it for granted. So actually, it changed the whole perspective of life itself.
Okay, thanks, Amr. It's a good perspective. I don't think Confucius, which is this is the face you see, intended it that way. Let me give you an example from my experience, my life with some people I know. I used to know a Mr. Singh who was the general manager of IBM back in the 80s, IBM UAE. Okay? He was a very active manager. He came to all the account visit, etc. And he will always say to me, when I retire, I'm going to play golf and enjoy myself and never mind all these business visits and activities, right? So his life today was business visits, etc. His second life is going to be what? Fun, leisure, golf. So he retired one day and within 1 week passed away. Now, he thought he has a second life, but you realize you only have one. When you realize you only have one, you realize you don't have the time, the luxury, the option to wait for the second life. You only have one. Had he thought of it that way, he wouldn't have postponed playing golf until he retired. We don't have two lives, you have one. So if you say to yourself, when I make so much money, when I do this, I have to be careful personally not to say, when I retire, I will do that. I'll pursue this hobby, I will travel. If you only have one life, and when you realize it's only one, that's when the second life begins, which is the only life at the end of the day. Okay? This is a mystery to me because a lot of people think, okay, that arriving a bit late or time doesn't matter or being punctual doesn't matter. But if you bear this in mind, promptness is a sign of respect to the people you will be meeting with, visiting, or to the deliverable you promised. It's a big sign of respect and other people, gauging your credibility. So on this one, I would say, stop wasting time, stop looking for excuses, stop being, if you like, procrastinating and going right, left, and center, and act and be prompt. What you said you would do, you do it. You arrive on time, you arrive on time. there's never really good enough excuse. Usually, if it's a valid reason, you had an accident. Nobody can deny that. You're stuck on the street, the police are there. But apart from something dramatic like that, most of it, people have a misconception thinking, maybe if I want to be the big boss, I should arrive a few minutes late, let everybody wait for me. Or you're invited to a party and think, I don't want to be the first, I'm, Mr. or Mrs. Important, I should arrive a few minutes late. If you remember, it's a sign of respect, you would be prompt. Sorry, I'm not asking always for contribution because we will not cover that many in the half hour. We're already nearly 20 minutes. This one is very important for all of us, but in particular for managers. And I think it is attributed to Warren Buffett. Praise in public, criticize in private. Fortunately, I can see that this is fairly common at Alpha Data. We do acknowledge people, praise them, certify them publicly. I don't hear too many public criticism. So that should be your motto. If you got to say something negative, make sure it's a private conversation. People accept it gladly when it's just between the two of you. They feel really insulted when it is public. Don't think it makes you look bigger if you open your mouth in front of everybody and say something negative about another person. This one is interesting, and we fall prey to it more times than we think. You should demand extraordinary evidence in order to believe extraordinary claims. So what do we mean by extraordinary claims? This picture shows you, if somebody says to you, I saw a pink elephant, you'd want some damn good evidence, as opposed to somebody says it was a beautiful sunrise today. And yet, especially these days with social media, so much goes around that is fake. Whether it is, especially recently, the hailstorm in the UAE, some of it was true, a lot of it was exaggerated, and amazing pictures I've received from everywhere. Some of it were true, but those that looked like we are in Siberia, I have to demand the evidence. How did you get that? That never happens in the UAE, not to that degree. So the more something surprised you, this should be in the back of your mind. If it's extraordinary, don't think, amazing, and go circulating it. See if you can have extraordinary evidence. This is a tough one. Don't be the best, be the only. What do you think? This was Kevin Kelly, attributed to Kevin Kelly. Now I need a contribution on this one. It's short, but it's to the point. Don't be the best, be the only. How can you be the only? Is that possible? Giant, you're itching to say something, go ahead, but make it quick and to the point. And if you can have an example, fantastic.
Yes, good morning, sir. Basically, it points to your uniqueness. So if you have your unique ability, you should maintain that. Life is not a competition, because in competition, you tend to be cutthroat. You try to override a lot of facts and people. So it is better that you be remembered as a unique person. So you should be a part of the team which has a unique quality and an important contributor. That's it.
Thank you. That's good. I see Zach itching to say something. Go ahead, Zach.
Actually, I don't really understand this one, but if I can say something is, there's a saying which is be the best version of yourself. And I think there's only one of us, right? So there's only one Zach, or there's only one Amr or Fayez or Giant. So it's be the absolute best that you can be, and be the only one unique like you, if I can understand it right.
Yeah, it's a fair understanding. Let me say, now I'm looking on my screen. Not
The
one
biggest example is Tesla.
Tesla.
It's
Yep.
the biggest example.
Well, maybe Elon Musk is the real example, but fair enough. You know, whether you like it actually or not, you are so unique. And from your DNA, from your makeup, from your thinking process, your nature, your nurture, how you brought up, no two people are ever the same. If you respect your uniqueness and promote that, people realize that this person is the best asset we could have because they've been their self and they know there is no second XYZ. It's just the nature of life. Like you don't have two people with the same iris. Now they do iris scan. They do also fingerprint, although I don't trust that because a lot of people, including me, have a wiped out fingerprint. So I could never use the airport scanners because they always rejected me after queuing. So if you follow be the only, you are the only, but you need to subscribe to that and think, I am unique. Let me bring my uniqueness to the table. Your uniqueness could be from the way you talk, the way you smile, the way you commit, the way you understand something. Really enjoy that. It's a gift that the universe, God, or whatever you want to say, gave it to you. The more you bring it forward, and if you look at the successful people, I look at, say, podcasts. People think Joe Rogan is a big podcast host, and he makes hundreds of millions. He has hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of followers. Not because he plays a game. He's just being himself. And there is no other Joe Rogan. There's only that guy. And every author, host, etc., that being themselves tend to score really high. Okay. Ooh, I don't like the picture personally, but tend to the small things. More people are defeated by blisters than by mountains. Okay. Somebody from those who promised to participate yesterday, Marwan is in front of me. I think I called your name yesterday, so go ahead. No?
No.
Yeah.
But,
you were in front of me, surely. Well, I don't know who was. Service organization, mostly. Okay, but can you say something, or is that you're not ready to participate on that one?
I'm not ready a little bit on this.
All right, let's have somebody else that I called you yesterday. Come on, guys, you are on the call. I know you are.
Good morning, Fayez. This is KD.
Good morning. Okay.
So this is the typical death by 1,000 cuts. Sometimes companies look only at the top of the big things, although most of the times we die from the 1,000 little small things that we do not pay attention on, like petty cash or expenses here and there.
Very good.
So,
yeah, very valid. But even if you stick to the mountain, if you're trying to climb Everest, don't think it is the climbing that's the problem. Actually, this example is a very valid one. And I've had it happen to me and people I hike with. Often what stops a 10-mile hike isn't that it's 10 miles or it's very hot or it's very cold. Usually a blister that gets more and more and more painful than you think I give up. And yet, had you addressed that right from the beginning when it started to feel sensitive, then you'd be all right. But it seems small in the end is what really wrecks the whole project. So this applies in business and life and relationship, especially in relationship. You make one lousy comment to your partner and you think, oh, it doesn't matter, it's just a lousy. But then that becomes the cornerstone of a lot of things and suspicions and upset and, a lot of aggravation that builds on that. So see to those little things if you want to make it to the top of the mountain. Habits remove action from self-negotiation. And what does that mean to you? Or why would you want to go down that route? And not difficult, so jump. Don't 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
We are compulsive. We get compulsive normally.
Compulsive.
Yeah, but we never think. For example, if I focus on eating and all those particular things, okay, the very habit of eating takes away my ability to do so many things. There are so many things about it.
All right. Really, the intention of this, let me ask you, and I only see if you, how many of you decide every night whether you should brush your teeth or not? Show me your hands. Do you sit down and think about it? No. You don't sit all evening thinking, should I brush my teeth tonight? No, maybe I should. No, I shouldn't. Maybe I should. If you form something into a solid habit, negotiation ends. And life is a lot easier if you form habits that are so powerful that you don't negotiate. So exercise, I used to say myself, 3 times a week is enough. But then I found there is negotiation there. Now it's every day. Then there's no negotiation. It has to happen, come what may. Obviously, if you're traveling, something can stop you. Anything like that, you see some of the top executive like Mark Zuckerberg or something, they wear the same T-shirt every time they appear. They may have 20 of them, but I think it's a grayish T-shirt, okay, or a polonaise or whatever you call them. And that, he doesn't have to think, what shall I wear today? He just slips a fresh, clean set on, end of story, gets on with it. I envy often the sort of Emiratis here. They don't have to worry about which dish dash, shall I put the pink or red or brown one? They just put the dish dash on, obviously nice and clean, hopefully. So this does make life a lot easier. So anytime you want to, if you like, win the battle of will, because will is an exhaustible resource. You can't push yourself once, twice, 3 times a week. You cannot do it for life. But if it's a habit, you don't have to think about it. The more you're interested in others, the more interesting they will find you. Does that make sense? Santan is in front of me and shaking his head. Let's see. The more you are interested in others, the more interesting they will find you.
Good morning, Chief. I'll tell my perception, my understanding on this.
No. Wait. I want an example. We all can explain it, but don't get it. But an example, everybody gets it.
Okay. The recent example on this line would be like, I happened to speak to my friend and he was in trouble. And actually it is something related to family issues, but I was spending quite good time with him to understand it. And I don't have an answer for that. I was just talking and seeing what I could add to that. But it looks like he was happy end of that session because he said that at least you give your ears to listen to me. And the perception on me was totally different for him. So more we look at others' interest and you get interested to them. That's what I can correlate here.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So when you're in a relationship with anybody, we tend to think the person who relates more story, talks the most, etc., is the most interesting. It's actually totally the opposite. People are interested in themselves. They want to be heard. They don't want to be sitting with what is called a topper. You know what a topper is? You tell me that I did X, Y, Z, or my son or daughter, whatever did this. I top your story with even more interesting story. Those are really annoying, what you call toppers. So before you finish your story, they're busy thinking about how to top your story with their version. So you don't be a topper, just listen. And then maybe you didn't say anything all evening. They'll walk away and say, so-and-so is so interesting. I'm so glad I met with them. And you think, well, they didn't say anything, but they were interested. And that is the beauty of people who are good listeners. Okay, I'll take this one last because we're hitting our limit. The only option in life is how we interpret events. Okay, for time's sake, I'm going to cover this, but I'm sure a lot of you have your own perspective on it. You think we have options in life. Usually they're very limited. An accident happened to you, something you want doesn't work out. All kinds of things are affected by how you were, if you like, how you grew up, where did you grow up. It affects what happens in your life, the events of your life. The only thing that is optional is how you look at it. Okay, so let's take an example. How you look at it depends on your perspective, right? Is that clear here? One guy sees 6, one sees 9. So don't assume your perspective is the only one, but how you look at it, you can change your mind or you can understand the other person's viewpoint. What about this one? It's a bit harder, this one. Can you look at it? It's fun to look at. One thinks there are 4 beams, one says there are 3. Is it 4 or 3? Sitara, you see 4 or you see 3? You're muted.
I see 4.
I see
3.
I see 3.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, yes, it is everything in life. There's nothing fixed. It's all perspective. It's all interpretation. Okay, let's take this one. What do you see? Do you see a vase? Do you see what do you see?
2 faces and a vase.
Like a chalice. Or it could be 2 people looking at each other.
Yeah, so you see
In my life.
you people, that should also give you an impression that really, what did you say, Rajiv? I think that got some people laughing.
Me and my wife, I said.
Cheers. You and your wife. I think you tried to give yourself a compliment. There's no mustache here.
It looked like twins, yeah.
It's just... Okay, so that's another one. And we know we use this expression a lot. A cup half full or half empty. So make it your, if you like, mission to always think, I have an option. I don't have option in a lot of things, but how I see and interpret things is always optional. Even when somebody, if you like, bans your car, there are many ways to see it. Don't look for the only one. Why did it have to be me? Why did it happen to me? You may want to see what is the lesson in the situation or view it. You might, once I had somebody run the back of my car and he's now a good friend. So we jumped out of the car, we argued a bit, and then we exchanged information. And I realized he's a really nice guy. So there is that perspective. The other perspective, I could have shouted at him and insulted him, and he insulted me, and we walk away enemies. So how you see it is important. Okay, guys, we got to the end. Hopefully some of this has been useful to you. Now, if I can ask you to leave comments and rate. Thank you very much and have a great day.